Hello everyone, and welcome back to another installment of The Real Podcasters, the show where we like to talk all things movies, TV shows, video games, and a bunch of other things in no particular order. My name's Regan as ever, and I'm joined once again by my mutated flying rodent of a co-host. It's Dan.
God, that's got to be the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Ish.
Ish. Hello,
Yeah,
you inferior Riddler bot.
Again, that's also been quite nice, so thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's episode of The Real Podcasters. We really do appreciate it. Last episode, we spoke about 28 years later, an episode that's done quite well, it must be said. Thank you very much for that. We are now going to be talking about...
Later.
Shut up, Dan. Gonna have no language like that at all today. None of that. Haven't even gotten to the intro yet. No, we are going to be discussing the concluding chapter, or what once was, now isn't, the concluding chapter to the Arkham series with Batman Arkham Knight, a series that we were going to begin covering last year until once again, because this is now just becoming a borderline excuse, we would have covered Arkham Asylum if I didn't have a mental breakdown. It's happening every single time we do a new episode now. So, given it's a 10-year anniversary for Arkham Knight, technically a couple of days ago, I'm a bit late to this, only seemed fair to discuss maybe the more polarizing installments in the Arkham series, and that's being quite generous. But before we do all that, as ever, I always have to look to my incredible co-host, who occasionally uses ChatGPT to create a synopsis for a thing that we talk about every now and again. Let's see if he's done it this time. Dan,
I haven't this time.
Oh, okay, that's good then. Give us a brief synopsis of what the hang is going on in Gotham City this night.
What the bat is going on?
What's the bat?
Okay, so I really had to stop myself from writing more. I had to really limit myself here. So
Okay.
basically, the Joker's dead, but Gotham's now under a new and terrifying threat. Scarecrow, a crazed chemist obsessed with fear, plans to plunge the city into chaos and align himself with the revenge-bent Arkham Knight. Batman now faces his toughest challenge yet, as the city he swore to protect is in the hands of criminals once again.
It does say a lot when you say it out loud that just like Scarecrow threatens the whole of Gotham, and rather than anyone choosing to deal with it, they're just like, you know what, fuck it, we're gone. We're just going to leave immediately.
There's no fight or flight mode. It's just all flight mode. We're gone.
Yeah. It's like the best decision that like a Gothamite has made ever, just leaving. No one else thinks to do these things when like the entire city's on the brink. They're just like, nah, it's fine. We'll talk about our first impressions first. I didn't play this game until a couple of years after its release, because developer Rocksteady opted to make these games exclusively for the new generation of consoles at the time, that being Xbox One, PS4, PC, all that nonsense. So it wasn't until, I think, 2017 before I played the game for the first time. I did actually surprisingly well on hiding from any spoilers, because, yeah, stuff happens in this game. I couldn't really put the game down once I started playing it. I'd heard some relatively mixed things, usually in relation to a specific automobile, which also doubles as a tank, because of course it does.
Oh, yes.
We'll get to that. But in general, I thoroughly enjoyed my time playing it for the first time. I think even at the time, I think I might have labelled it my favourite of the Arkham series. Bear in mind, I came into the series with Arkham City, so I came in with Part 2. And then I think I played a bit of Origins, so Part 3, unofficially. And then Arkham Asylum, Part 1.
Really messed up the timeline, haven't you?
Oh, honestly, it was buggered to hell. I was like, there's like so many like things going on in Arkham City, and you're like, is this supposed to be a big deal right now? Because I can't tell. But in general,
Yep.
like I say, I I really enjoyed it. Even the story, while dealing with fairly familiar things, I thought was really good and visually absolutely stunning. It's a shame about the bat tank, but again, we'll get to that. Dan, give me your first
I wonder how many
impressions.
names it's gonna fall under. I didn't play this as early as you did. I played it a few years ago, actually.
Wow.
My sort of experience comes from actually playing the games in order. So playing Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Knight, and then Arkham Poo Origins.
Someone's not a fan.
Yes. Oh no, he's really not. We don't talk about Arkham Origins. There's no need to talk about it.
Unfortunately, we will a little bit.
Played it on PC actually before I played it on console.
Oh, you brave boy.
And despite the issues, I thought it was a pretty pleasant playthrough. Did actually favour it for a time being, but on a recent playthrough, things have changed. That's all I'll say. Things have changed.
Well, for the sake
For the better
of it,
or for the worse. Stay tuned.
Yeah, well, to be honest, we'll just go straight into that because, there is a lot to unpack with a game like this, despite the fact that, yes, it was obviously meant to be the concluding chapter of the Arkham series, and then Suicide Squad, fuck the Justice League. Oh, sorry, kill the Justice League. Sorry, I get that wrong every time.
Fuck the Justice League.
He says, having never played that game and vows to never do it ever. Just ever, ever, ever. Like, it looks just awful. So let's get into a bit more of a discussion on Arkham Knight. So when it comes to the story, like we've already said, Scarecrow threatens the whole of Gotham to make him really, really scared. Gotham is just like, nope, we're gone. We're just going like even after everything, I cannot deal with this again. So it just conveniently leaves Gotham full of criminals for Batman to punch, as opposed to just members of the public that he can punch, which there is a part of me that thinks...
kick, throw, run
sock,
over... Oh,
whack,
the list's endless.
Wallop.
Whack, yeah.
Yeah,
Blunder.
The fact there isn't, like, an option to include sort of, like, comic, like, punch panels every time he hits someone, which...
Pow!
Yeah, that would be great, frankly. It would be really nice, but alas, we don't get that. I really appreciate the... Well, first of all, we'll deal with the ending of Arkham City, because as you alluded to in the brief synopsis, Joker dies at the end of that game. Which, once again, like, it took me years to finish Arkham City, because I was at that point in my life where I just took so bloody long to finish things, because I did not like looking at walkthroughs or anything. So if I got stuck, I'd just give it like 6 months and then just go back and do it again. It's just him choking on his drink again.
Get like he's stuck on one level, so you wait 6 months. Jesus.
Hey man, I grew up playing Tomb Raider, so that's exactly how it worked.
Good grief, man.
Just, I took it seriously. So I appreciate the fact that I was kept away from spoilers with Arkham City with the knowledge that Joker dies at the end. And I feel sorry for Rocksteady having to constantly throw away the question of, well, is the Joker actually dead? Are you going to bring him back? Yes, he is dead. And yes, we are going to bring him back. But I'll give it credit, because again, that was kept very well hidden from me, because by the time you get to Ace Chemicals in what feels like only like an hour or two into the game, and you're all of a sudden you feel like, oh, we're coming to an end. That was rapid.
Oh, yeah.
As you do. And then, like, suddenly just, like, the Joker appears and then cuts to black. And I was like, right, as a hook, that is sublime. That is very, very good. If only just to get a little bit more with Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill, because them two working together is absolutely beautiful. Like, both of them are so, so good.
Peak.
Yeah,
Peak voice acting.
I mean, yeah. It's the best voice for Batman and probably the best voice for the Joker. I mean, hell, this version of the Joker is easily one of my favorites, especially in this game, because now we've got a Joker that's inside Batman's head. He's not physically there, and he also knows that he's Bruce Wayne now, so it can mess with him just a little bit more. And I really like that. I like that a lot. Especially because it would be a bit stupid to just undo the ending for Arkham City. I mean, I know everyone was like, well, he did die right next to a Lazarus pit. I thought, they've done that deliberately, though. Just to, like, mess with people's heads.
We don't need Joker Al Ghul. We don't need that.
No,
Please.
we don't. We definitely don't need, like, a Titan version of Joker again. Can we just agree that was the stupidest thing in Arkham Asylum? Like, bloody hell.
Oh, it was. It was pretty daft.
Yeah. Obviously, we don't just have Joker here. We've got the return of Scarecrow, this time voiced by John Noble. I don't know about you, but I absolutely love the look for Scarecrow in this game. I think it's possibly my favourite, visually my favourite
across
look
the whole
for the Scarecrow.
series, I've always liked this version of Scarecrow. Like, even from the Asylum, he just looks so creepy. And in Night, yeah, you've hit it on the head, really. It's just, like, the best-looking version of Scarecrow ever.
Yeah, because it's... I mean, I appreciate, like, the Freddy Krueger sort of syringes in the first game.
Yeah.
But this one where it's now just, like, a Theotoxin knuckle duster... I actually really like that a lot. It just looks...
Theotoxin knuckle duster.
You look at it again, that's exactly what it is.
I wouldn't quite go with the knuckle duster, but hey-oh.
I mean, like, he can't punch to save his life, to be honest.
Well, no, because he just cowers away, so...
Yeah, or gets beaten in a
He's an awful lot like me, he's just a bit of a hermit.
I wasn't actually going to go there, and yet you've just made it easy for me to just reference that. Honestly. But, like, I even, like... it's weird when you read into, like, the description of this particular version of Scarecrow, where, like, it suggested that after he's, like, mauled to near death by Killer Croc, which, first and foremost, he should be dead. It's just as simple as that. He should have been, absolutely. It should be Scarecrow in, like, 4 pieces throughout the entire game. You're just dealing with a different quarter of him.
See, that's one of the many nitpicks of this game. That if this guy has been eaten, mauled, chewed, spat out by a 16-foot crocodile lizard thing, how is he not dead? Like, and he's come out with a bad leg. That's it.
Yeah, bad leg, and he stitched
his jaw together. That's it.
Yeah, like, I like that as a design. I mean, it does mean it's quite difficult to actually, like, really get a gauge to his face. So I'm starting thinking, so is he stitched his mask into his face, or has he put his face back together to make it look like his mask? I don't quite know. Either way, it looks really creepy. Regardless.
Oh yeah, I think it's definitely like the skin is sort of interwoven with the mask.
And John Noble does an absolutely phenomenal job. I mean, like, I do like the previous, like, sort of, like, vocal depiction of Scarecrow in Arkham Asylum, but this one, he feels like an actual threat, which I really like, because usually in other sort of, like, Batman lore, he's usually kept off to the side. Or you look at something like even the Dark Knight trilogy, which I do like that version of Scarecrow quite a bit, but this one feels like he can actually do some damage to the whole of Gotham, and I do actually really like that.
Yeah, I think this particular version actually feels like a threat this time. I mean, in an asylum, he's just a bit of a cackling lunatic that just enjoys messing with your mind, whereas this is a very, very different version of Scarecrow, I think.
Obviously, it is kind of undone pretty easily, considering that once he does actually set off the Theotoxin, that's kind of it. There's not much more for him to do, and then the actual defeat of the Scarecrow happens in a cutscene. Like, I know it's you can't just beat up Scarecrow consistently, and you can't just turn him into like a giant. Well, because even that would be quite dull. I think that's kind of the problem with using Scarecrow, is like he's a fantastic threat up until you have to actually lay a punch on his stupid face. It's like, well, and that's it. It's gone now. So I kind of understand why Rocksteady went with it in a cutscene, because once you get rid of the fear toxin, that's kind of it. There's not much more for him to do, but at the same time, it does feel a bit anticlimactic, because that entire final bit is mostly there so you can punch the hell out of a deranged clown instead of a deranged scarecrow. Six
No,
and
it's a
two
bit of a
threes,
change,
really.
isn't it?
Yes. But obviously the name of the game is Arkham Knight. I think everyone prior to it was started thinking, right, what the bloody hell is an Arkham Knight? I was like, is it Batman? Is it just Batman Arkham Batman? Is he like James Bond now?
It's just Batman and like a medieval like knights thing with the bat symbol.
Right, you know what?
Just
I don't
clunking
even hate
around
that
Gotham.
idea. I mean, we've
Just
had,
clunking around Gotham.
well, we've had, Batman going up against Jack the Ripper. I think, why don't we have a medieval version of Batman? Battisman.
Battisman.
But no, we have a new villain called the Arkham Knight, who we were told routinely in the promotion for the game that he is an original
I mean,
character.
like, yeah, in case you didn't know, he's called the Arkham Knight, as the game likes to remind you about 7 million times.
It's a weird name, to be honest. I mean, well, obviously we'll get to the main thing with, because Rocksteady was routinely saying that no, the Arkham Knight is an original character, and I'm sat there thinking, well, if he's hiding his face, he's not going to be original, is he? Because that's not how humans work, frankly. So plenty of theories. I like the fact that people legitimately thought that the secret identity of the Arkham Knight was the Joker. I'm sat there thinking, have you seen the Joker? If he turns sideways, he vanishes. That's how frail he is.
I think even
he's
in
not going to be
like
a
the
combat
conversations,
master.
the conversations when you just like eavesdrop on thugs and stuff, I'm sure that there's like conversation where it's like I know who the knight is, and it's got to be Joker, and then like they bant on it's like he's dead and all this stuff, so it's quite funny actually.
Yeah, to be actually, I do really like listening to the militia sort of like in the background, because they do talk some absolute nonsense, frankly.
Oh, it's funny. They talk absolute bollocks sometimes. It's hilarious.
Oh, they do. So obviously the big reveal with the Arkham Knight, who I mean is vaguely interesting. I quite like the design, just to sort of mess with Batman a bit, but Dan clearly doesn't. We're clearly on different terms here. I'm clearly in Metropolis. He's in Gotham. It's probably a good idea. He's going to get very, very angry. Okay then, Dan, you tell me about why you absolutely adore the Arkham Knight.
Okay.
I would rather go up against a
Right.
Porg. Arkham Porg.
Arkham Porg. Right. So as far as the story goes, right, it's definitely the fastest paced one out of the entire series, because as I mean you said before, like within like the first couple of missions you're at Ace Chemicals confronting Scarecrow,
Yeah.
and then after you confront Scarecrow you've got this padded out storyline of just this revenge bent Batman wannabe who does nothing but send robots after you, and it is just unbelievably tedious to deal with, and you just feel so like bogged down playing the game, because it's like, are you actually gonna like face me so we can just deal with this right here right now? And every time you do face him, it's just some little cop out, because it like the Batmobile rocks up or something like that, and he just disappears into thin air. So when you finally confront him, it's actually pretty dissatisfying, I must admit. He's a
That's
bit of a
fair.
subpar villain.
Yeah, because you do kind of like, you don't really fight him properly until like the very end, because every other time he's just hidden inside a giant. It just reminds me of a slightly smaller version of the Driller Bot from Transformers 3, which is saying something, because
Yeah.
I quite like the Driller Bot from Transformers 3.
I mean, you're not
I would
known
have
for your
preferred
film
that,
taste,
frankly.
so
Shut the fuck up, Daniel. It's the best one of all 7 or 8.
But yeah,
no,
he-
it's not. Actually, no.
he just
Transformers one's
hides away, and like all these boss battles that you do, it's just
better.
tanks.
Oh.
It's so boring.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, because you think they could have come up with a good idea for a boss fight with the Arkham Knight, considering that the previous boss fight, or at least the best of the series, i.e. with like Arkham Asylum, you've got, I mean, the Scarecrow ones are probably the finest ones. If not, I do actually really like the Killer Croc one. Arkham City, of course, has Mr. Freeze. That one is sublime.
Yeah.
Even Arkham Origins has Deathstroke, which is apt. We'll get to that. Like that boss fight in Arkham Origins is tough as hell, but my god, is it exciting. I mean, I've got like a personal favourite for this one, but I mean, it's not the Arkham Knight one. Like, that one is just subpar, to say the least. Like, even when you're fighting him hand to hand, and he's just hiding on top of a gargoyle 3 or 4 times with a sniper, who has, you know, the same visual ability as a Dalek, which I don't like. It's just stupid. I'd rather fight a Dalek at that rate.
I love how, like, when you're also on a gargoyle, like, the sniper will be nowhere near you, but the game will not physically let you just glide over, even though the sight is nowhere near you. Yeah. The game wants you to just, like, jump down, sneak through all these sentries and stuff. It's just like, wow, we're really going there, are we? Like,
yeah. We're just cheating, essentially. We're just cheating.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't like shortcuts, this game.
No, definitely not. So obviously the revelation is that the Arkham Knight is actually Robin number 2, Jason Todd, which fits in line with the comics fine. My big issue, though, is the fact that a character like this should have been introduced very early on, and not early on in this game, I mean early on in this series. I mean, yes, we know we've got Nightwing, so there is a Robin 1. The current one is Tim Drake, so Robin 3. So technically, yes, there is a Robin 2, but at the same time, you don't necessarily have to follow the comics. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't really work here. And especially when you start going into hallucinogenic flashbacks, and then you start seeing Jason Todd, it's as subtle as a brick to the face, which Batman does a lot to a lot of people. So that's the thing. In concept, I don't mind it, but in execution, it falls flat because I just don't care. And there's no time with Jason outside of him being tortured, and then suddenly helping Batman.
Yeah,
I don't care for it at all. I don't know about you. I assume probably similar.
I honestly didn't really care for it, and to be honest, I gave more of a crap about the side missions than the actual main story, up until, like, I think a great percentage of this game's main story is so padded out with, like, tediousness overuse of a bat tank versus other tanks, and a very dissatisfying reveal of who the Arkham Knight is, and then every other side mission is actually pretty enjoyable.
Yeah.
Even if they're brief as hell. So yeah, I wasn't really that big on it.
Well, it's nice that you reference the side missions, because, I mean, that's kind of sort of like the strongest aspects of the game, because, you know, especially when you're dealing with a city that's full of villains, because it really does make you think that Batman's useless at his job, that they're just constantly running around all the time.
I know, it's like the same villains over and over again, like something has not been done right in the justice system.
It is literally like, as we're watching, we're halfway through season 2 of the Adam West series, it's exactly like that, but just with more actual punching and more explosions, you know, because this has a budget.
Yeah.
But the side missions vary from either tedious and repetitive to actually quite interesting. I'm curious, and actually, which is your favourite? And we'll include the sort of like the DLC ones as well.
Alright, I think... Well, I mean, I have a list of them here, but I thought... It's fairly brief, but I really like the Man-Bat bit. I thought that was really interesting because it's a villain that hasn't actually had a lot of stuff, like, besides a riddle in, like, other Arkham games. That's it. So you finally get to see the Man-Bat, and it is terrifying.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Like, ooh. There's also Firefly as well, a villain I don't think has been mentioned throughout the other games. I don't think, anyway. I think that's a pretty fun side mission to do, where you basically just have to go round to various fire stations, and then it ties in with the firefighter crew side mission as well, which we'll get to that. I think Penguin's ones are pretty good, but really quite repetitive after a while. I think probably my favourite, even though it was a bit of a pain in the arse, was the serial killer Professor Pig. Because I thought that was really, like, messed up and morbid, actually.
You know, it's always nice anytime that we mostly agree on something, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, like, the final showdown you have with that guy, and there's just, like, all these experiments, and they're immune to pain, so you just have to, like, ram them into electrical boxes to put them down. It's a good grief.
And especially when he's throwing knives and cleavers at you as well. It's just like...
Oh, yeah, like, he's determined to make you into one of his goons, his non-pain feeling goons. There's obviously Two-Face as well in the classic, like, bank heist thing. I think that's pretty decent. The briefest one, and I mean it's brief as in like it's about 5 minutes long, is when Hush infiltrates Wayne Tower.
What a
It's a pretty pointless quest, because it's so unbelievably disappointing. I think you could have, like, ditched all this padded Arkham Knight bullshit for a little bit more of this Hush side story. The Mr. Freeze story is really quite heart-wrenching, actually. That's really sad.
Yeah.
The Assassins one, it's fine. The Mad Hatter one's pretty good, but I've always liked the Mad Hatter stuff in the other Arkham games. The Killer Croc on the prison blimp thingy, where it turns out he's actually been experimented on, and now he looks an awful lot like Godzilla. He
does, and it's a shame that he's only in it briefly.
I think it's the tail.
Yeah,
I think it's the big tail. And Deathstroke.
Can we just agree? This,
we'll get to that later.
Yeah, okay. That's me told.
Get that later. Get to that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think these are like the when you're facing other villains outside of the main ones, it's the best sort of side missions. But tying in with Deathstroke, you have all these, like, very, I'm going to say, irritating militia side missions where there are just, like, numerous bombs, numerous watchtowers, numerous checkpoints, and numerous APCs. The APCs are fine because it's pretty much over and done with within 5 minutes. The watchtowers, vaguely the same, just depends on the island. I think Founders Island ones were probably the biggest pain in the arse because they're just surrounded by the worst sort of enemies. The checkpoints just suck because you're forced to upgrade the disruptor in order to deal with the more difficult ones where there's like 30 turrets, so you've got to sabotage them all. The bombs just absolutely feckin' not. Like, nah. It may as well be called Tank Simulator.
Yeah, we'll get to the Batmobile in a bit. It's interesting what you said before when it came to the fact that the villain side missions tend to be a bit better than the main one, which is a shame, especially considering I've gone through the game quite a few times now. I mean, I'm still on New Game Plus at the minute. I think I've got one more. I think there's only a couple more to do. And of course, there's the Riddler ones, which we don't talk about because they're fucking stupid. Just no.
I have a bit of a problem with the Riddler stuff.
Can we just say one thing on it, actually? That for a character that's called the Riddler, he's got a lot of puzzles.
Yes.
He's not the puzzler.
So
he's a Riddler.
He's the puzzler from Numberjacks, but because of copyright issues.
You have just made this game a bajillion times better if it just suddenly revealed that, like, just like Rocksteady in collaboration with the BBC.
The Riddler trials are just, my god,
idiotic.
Yeah, I've never really been a proper fan of all the Riddler stuff. I mean, Asylum, it was very sort of limited to just, like, find trophies, do riddles, that is it.
Yeah.
City, it was a bit more to it. I mean, you obviously had, like, the Catwoman trophies to get as well, so it
Which
sort
makes
of...
no sense, like, in universe.
Yeah,
like,
it
like,
doesn't.
How has he done that? It's like, how has he made it so that only Batman can get these ones and only Catwoman can get these ones? What has he done with this? I don't get it.
And then
at
it
all.
gets to the trials where you have to basically save Catwoman, who's damsel in distress, and it does the similar thing of, like, he has bots, but only Batman can hit the blue-coloured bots, and Catwoman can hit the red-coloured bots.
Why?
Why?
Yeah. It's like,
Exactly.
What's the point in that?
Why? Why? Yeah, it's... I mean, I think it's the last part that I have to do before I fall into the Nightfall protocol.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty much just got to solve like 260 odd riddles.
I mean...
I'm kind of pleased I don't have to collect all the trophies. I'm just glad it's the riddles and not like everything to do with the Riddler.
I mean, yeah, the Riddler stuff I really can't care for. I'm definitely in agreement with the probably the best boss fight in the game being Professor Pig. Because that's the thing, because like this game doesn't really have any proper boss fights, or any of them that they do have are kind of nerfed from the previous ones. Like Mr. Freeze, that boss fight's gone, but at least the story's actually quite nice.
Yeah.
Deathstroke is absolutely pointless. It's just
it's
an absolute waste of bringing him back.
waste of absolute time.
Yeah.
So basically, when you slog through the various bombs, militia checkpoints, towers, everything else, then you confront him. But you don't confront him on foot. No, you have tank v tank battle in like the most choring tank battle ever, because there's like 70 Cobra tanks, which are just a pain in the arse anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has a tank that can see like everything around it, so you're constantly playing like ping pong
Yeah.
with who's gonna hit who. And it is just like, well, that was Deathstroke. Great.
Yeah, it's just... it's
Waste
just
of time.
Yeah, exactly. Especially like it's such a downgrade from Arkham Origins, which one would never think that you would ever say that, to be honest.
I mean, yeah, that fight is absolute bullshit, but it's fairly exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with the man bat stuff. I think that's really effective. I do really like the Easter egg where if you play the game on the 31st of October, Man Bat gets out.
Yeah.
Which, that's the only reason I will not play the game on the 31st of October, because I'd like to keep it as a solid like percentage of everyone is in the prison.
Yeah.
Because I think on the regular mode,
I can just imagine, like, oh, what most wanted do I have to do? Oh, wait, how did he get out?
yeah, exactly. I was like, oh bugger, he's gone.
He's bloody flown away again.
But it's a nice idea. I mean, the Penguin and the Firefly ones, I'm not big on, only because of the repetitive nature of it. I mean, Firefly, I can get away with, because at least it's a new character. Even if he's flying at like 120 miles an hour, his jaw should be gone. Like, it should be torn to pieces. And he's already a burn victim. Like,
I think that the Penguin stuff is the most repetitive out of, like, the... Like, I think you've got to do it, like, 5 times. And I'm just going to say this. Right here. Right now. I hate Nightwing's combat. I detest it. It is stupidly unbalanced.
Yeah. I mean, even having Nightwing in this game, like, because we haven't really spoken about Batman specifically, because he is, like, unbearably stubborn in this game. Like, he is so moronic, whereby it's also funny how you can clearly tell which Robin he prefers, because he's quite happy to work alongside Nightwing against Penguin, but as soon as something little bit happens
insignificant
with like Robin 3, he's like, no, I'm locking him up. Just like, no. It's like, it's so passive aggressive. Just like, I could let you help me.
It's the
But I
fact
don't want to.
that you even get to do the counter attack as well.
Yeah. It's just like,
It's so,
what
like-
the hell?
It's like, Jesus, man, talk about favoritism.
Yeah. And that's one thing because me, I quite like having Robin in Arkham City. I thought because he was used quite sparingly. It is just really funny how ever since Batman and Robin, so many Bats related things are so terrified to use Robin. Because that one was just awful. Although when you look at the Robin suit in this, it does look a bit like the Robin suit from Batman and Robin, minus the nipples, and that actually makes me laugh.
Notice that actually.
Good, well done. We actually both have a pair of eyes.
Yeah, the nipples are just missing, aren't they?
Oh, that's a pity, honestly. That's the thing, you can get most of like the cinematic Batsuits, but you can't get the one for Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. Hacks.
Hacks.
Like you can even get the new Robert Bat one, which is just so weird to see because it's also not designed very well, so it's like surprisingly light and beige in places, especially in comparison to the rest of the suits. Which, where are you on the weird techie bat suit? I don't know if I like it or not.
To be honest, I've only really flicked through the skins. I've never really like sat and like had them on while I'm playing the game because I always just use the one you get that has the fear function that allows you to do the fear takedowns. Which I think is a great mechanic, by the way. Like that really saves a lot of effort, actually.
Well, that's the weird thing, actually. If we talk about like the difficulty, especially as I'm playing it on New Game Plus at the moment, is I'm actively trying to find ways to make life just a bit easier. Whether it's with the figure takedowns, which just makes Batman look like it's the Flash, which is just a bit weird. He's just like bouncing back and forth. But then anytime you get to like the militia checkpoint, and I find any, and I do mean any excuse to somehow find the way to get the Batmobile inside the checkpoint. I don't know how difficult it gets. Yeah. Like, I will hurl it across the Gotham Knight sky if I have to get it inside the checkpoint.
I will create an elaborate ruse of ramps throughout this city to get into a bloody checkpoint.
Yeah, because that's...
I can tell you as somebody who's done them all, because he has no life.
Yeah,
and he hates himself for it deep down. There are some that allow you to like open like a passage that allows the Batmobile to come in, but most of them, a lot of the harder ones, you have to do on foot with the help of the Disruptor to sabotage the drone turrets.
Which even when you do that, you are kind of sat like up above the checkpoint for a good 10 or 15 minutes, waiting for like the Disruptor to sort of cool itself down for some stupid reason, and you are kind of just sat there thinking, I am the Knight. Tomorrow night.
They can clearly see me, but you know.
Yeah. Because that's the thing as well, is that I don't really like...
It's like, it's Batman! Wait a second.
It's like...
Yeah, it's just watching like on the friggin' on the gauntlet. Alright, now it's time.
Yeah. Because I'm not big on the idea of Batman going up against like a militia army. It just feels so over the top. Like, I understand why they're doing it, because it feels like a grand ending and it kind of fits in. Because this game kind of has like a bit of everything from the Dark Knight trilogy in a way. But that one kind of worked in the film. It kind of makes sense. This one, an entire militia for one man. It's like, you don't even need the tanks, dude. You just need 10 guys with guns, and he's dead immediately.
I don't like it.
No, I don't.
It's as simple as that. I really don't. I think City had it dead on, where there's like different factions of... And I mean, like, yeah, there's like thugs of all the other villains, but I hate how like the focus is on the militia. Like, I'd rather just like face up against all these other factions again. Yeah. Like, because that just feels more like Arkham. Here it starts to feel like some bloody third-person military game at points, with given the very tedious battles you do with the like vast amount of bloody drones of every size and shape.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, we'll get into the biggest issue with the game, and that is the introduction of the Batmobile, which...
See, I welcome it.
Yeah, I do as well.
But I hate how overused it is.
Exactly. Like, even having it as a tank is still stupid. But if it was used sparingly, fine. But the fact that there is
Yeah.
an entire villain whose existence can only be defeated with the inclusion of said vehicle, the Riddler, and Deathstroke as
Fucking
well,
stupid.
and the Arkham Knight, and it's like, why didn't you just blow up the car? Like, why wasn't that the first thing you did?
But the thing is, though, that the Batmobile becomes pretty redundant once you're fully upgraded the like traversal side of Batman's suit, because the like glide thing
because you can
the
actually fly
grapple
now.
boost- Yeah, because you can just like shoot over to Founders Island within a matter of 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Whereas if
exactly.
you drive it, it takes a lot longer, so it becomes pretty redundant in later game, actually.
I mean, like, I'll say this, I think, like, driving around with it is really cool, and I do like the fact that you can replace the Batmobile with a few of the other versions across the years.
Even if they are utterly pointless,
Yes,
because
exactly.
you can't
Like,
use weapons.
the
Like,
fact
why
that-
have the tumbler, but you can't use the weapons? It's stupid.
Well, the Tumbler I can kind of understand, because that's just more of like a battering ram, but honestly, the fact that the BVS one wasn't used, because, hot take, that might be my favourite, like, cinematic interpretation of the Batmobile. I do love that design. And that has the capacity to be a tank. We've seen it actually be
but
a
it's
tank.
like
and there's none
cosmetic
of that.
only, so it's a
Yeah.
bit like, why? Why?
Although it is quite funny just running around in the Adam West one. That is just kind of quite funny. But yeah, it's so over the top, and I just love how like the Batmobile knows when you're aiming its gun at a person because it just fires rubber pellets instead. And as soon as you turn sort of like an inch, and it's an actual missile, and it's like, oh yeah, he's fine. He's absolutely fine. He's like, no, he's not. He's actually inside out. He actually looks like a character from bloody Hellraiser now. And yet somehow, oh no, it's fine. He's going to walk it
It's
off.
fine.
It is just a
It's
flesh
the same
wound.
with like when you're dealing with the takedowns of the APCs, and you've got to use the immobilize, and it does like the Zack Snyder like slow motioning of the car spinning throughout the air and that, and they go and hit the thugs, and it's like, Batman doesn't kill. Batman absolutely does kill.
Oh, he does. And it's the kind of thing where
Batman
it's like,
has caused numerous fatal crashes, if not drownings. There's been numerous times when I've sent a few cars into the Gotham Lake.
oh, you know what? And it's beautiful. It's like, oh no, it's fine because they can swim.
It just says unconscious. No, they're very unalive, actually.
I was about to say, because like if Batman can't swim in this universe, they can't.
What makes you think the generic thug of the Riddler can swim?
Exactly. But yeah, it's just like the overuse of it is just so tedious. And that's the
Yeah.
thing with like, especially with like the difficulty, like one of the watchtowers is populated exclusively with the giant minigun militia soldiers, and when you're on the hardest difficulty, and you are just sat there for about half an hour thinking, right, what do I actually do right now? Because at the moment I can't do anything. And even with the disruptor, you can take out 4 of them, but then you've got to wait for like 5 minutes to do a
Yeah.
5th one, and it's like, it kind of robs the fun out of it.
I really hate like the tougher enemies of the militia, because it's just so unbalanced.
Yeah,
Why does the militia have ninjas? Why?
yeah, I don't get it. I
Explain
never got
that,
Yeah.
please, because I do not understand that one bit. Like, it is literally like Ra's al Ghul's ninjas have been recruited by the militia.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if
I
that
really
tied
dislike
into
it.
yeah, well, I mean, if that tied into the Ra's al Ghul mission, which to be honest, actually, because when I went back to the game for the first time in ages, not too long ago, and I still had the Ra's al Ghul one to do, and I forgot that you do have the choice of what you do with Ra's al Ghul. Either you actually kill him, or you destroy the Lazarus Pit and just let him sort of like eke out his days in GCPD. I hadn't done that version. I just killed him because it'd been years. And that's actually quite a good side mission and a nice sort of epilogue to Arkham City. Like, even the line at the very end when he actually says that he's that he's proud.
I'm proud of you, detective.
Yeah. I was like, also, I actually like the fact that he calls him Detective and not Batman. I actually really like that.
Yeah.
Um,
I wish I could say I enjoyed the mission.
I know you didn't. I can tell. You're just like sat there as I'm talking, like, oh yeah. He's talking absolute shit, isn't he?
I think with Knight, it's the free roam part that I like. Like, you're not confined to this main story. Like, you can actually just like go off and explore, which I really do like, actually.
Yes.
Because you get a taste of it in City, I think. But here, you've got this even bigger map, more to explore. And I mean, yeah, there's loads of side missions, some just terrible, but at least the option's there. And also, you know, the collectibles and stuff, though. I didn't actually realise this till I looked up. There are like 400 Riddler trophies in City. There's only 200 odd in Night.
Yeah, because then everything else is those stupid car challenges and actual riddles, and it's...
Oh, yeah, like, screw the... I'm only doing the riddles just so I can do the Nightfall Protocol. I'm not interested in doing the trophies because they don't really bring anything to the story.
Well, that's the thing, like...
Congratulations, you have no life for collecting 200 odd Riddler trophies.
Last thing even for me is, like, I watched the ending on YouTube because I didn't want to... I'm the kind of person where it's like, I want to do the Nightfall Protocol once I've done everything else, but because some of it I'm just never going to do,
yeah,
I kind of have to cheat. When it comes to the other DLC bits, because I meant to mention it, I think my favourite one is the Batgirl one. I think that's a really good thing, because...
I really like the Batgirl one, actually.
But I think it's just because it's nice to have Oracle as a proper character in this game, as opposed to just, like, a vocal thing. I didn't realise that the actress... I forget the name of the actress, but she's one of the characters from Twilight, as it turns out.
Oh, really?
This is way better. But I think it's just because it's, like... It's just nice to actually see a bit of Batgirl in this, and I think the suit as well looks really badass. It really must be said.
Yeah.
And the fact you can find it in Arkham Knight as well, in the Clock Tower, I like that a lot.
Yeah, because it's one of the riddles you do. And I must say, I really do like the riddles, because you get like little stories you can actually read, so it actually feels like they have some purpose, other than the fact it's just like a checklist tick. Yeah, kind of. There is a little bit of an excuse. I mean, some of them are still very annoying, and more to the point, it's like it's not because it's like in a stupid location, it's just because like it's such an easy thing, but it's like so hidden with... I'm not good with words. It's just like it's so easy, but you'd never think of it. Yes, exactly. You do occasionally either feel like you're absolutely thick, yeah, or you feel like a god. There's no like in between, really. I mean, one of them was simple as shit, and it was doing my head in. It was literally after the Riddler trials, and it's something to do with, you know, like, I can't remember the bloody riddle, but essentially, it's something to do with Catwoman's collar. And after you unlock it, you basically scan it. And I was looking all around, and I was like, right, I give up. I've tried looking for photos, I've tried looking for, like, you know, like her gadgets or something like that. No, it turns out it's a collar on the floor. Great. I was just like, I am just thick. Well, I think we'll start wrapping it up, because this mostly because I feel like if I let you talk about this game anymore, you're going to start absolutely ragging on us. Which Which the worst thing is that I don't necessarily agree with it entirely, but I totally understand where you're coming from, because this one can be frustrating as hell. But I don't mind the frustrating ones, providing that you feel like a sense of achievement once you've done it. This flickers between the two, where sometimes it's like, I'm going to turn this off for at least 2 years, and then I'll get back to it. I mean, it's definitely like, I'm going to finish off the Riddler stuff and then never ever play it again. Wow. Like, because Jesus Christ, it's just been unpleasant, to be honest. I just really forgot how mediocre the story really is. Like, it's so padded out with all this Arkham Knight stuff. It's just tedious tank battles, and then you face off your villain in a bloody cutscene. It's like, Christ. It's just disappointing. Yeah, I think in general it's fine. I am starting to get more negative as you start talking about it. I'm like, oh, I get it. It's fine. That's Arkham it, though. Fine. It's fine. It's not brilliant. It's just fine. Well, no, I think we can probably both agree it's probably still better than Origins, which I actually don't mind.
But yeah, I think that wraps up our thoughts on Batman Arkham Knight, a game that's, as is with a lot of things, and Dan will probably agree with me, we'll probably see it as well, this is indeed a game.
It is. It was
Yeah.
indeed made.
Yeah, that's it. It was made to be used. And abused, as it turns out. But yes, that is our thoughts on Batman Arkham Knight, so thank you very much for listening to all of that. Next episode, though, because once again, we're going to do the whole thing where either Dan's already looking at the schedule because he doesn't want to be terrified. Damn it, he is. Well, you know what then? If that's the case, Dan, why don't you have a look at what we're doing next? Bearing in mind that it's technically out of order for this and 28 years later because someone saw it earlier.
Well, Back to the Future, eh?
Yes, we're going to talk about Back to the Future for its 40th anniversary. I swear to God, if you say that film is mid, I am going to be replacing you with a silent Porg figure. And it's just going to cut back to the Porg every time you're meant to talk. We're going to hear nothing.
Okay. I'll have
Great.
to rewatch that at some point.
It's streaming on now.
Oh, well, that's fine then, because I've got that to do, so that's fine.
But yes, we'll be back next time with our review of Back to the Future 40 years later. So we'll see you then. And until then, it is goodbye from Dan.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.